Hi everyone, welcome back to USCMA part 2. And which section are we doing? Section E, that is capital investment analysis. And in the previous class, what did we discuss? We started with payback period method. Yes or no? And we saw payback period means the time it takes for us to recover our initial investment. And in payback period, there were two types. What were they?
Simple and discount.
Simple payback and discounted payback. What is the difference between simple payback and discounted payback? Simple payback means it takes what?
Only few years to recover.
Okay, that is one way of looking at it, but the major difference between the two is what, guys? Between simple payback period and discounted.
Ma'am, profitable.
No, both the projects don't talk, both the methods don't talk about the profitability of the project. See, the main difference between simple payback and discounted payback is that the simple payback, the discounted payback takes time value of money into consideration, whereas your simple payback does not take time value of money into consideration. And don't you all think time value of money is important because these projects are not for like 1 or 2 years, it is for more than 1 year, right? So we need to know what is the present value of those cash flows. Correct? So that was the major difference between your simple payback period and your discounted payback. But everything else is the same, how we calculate and all of it. And it is very simple, it is very easy to calculate, easy to understand. Then what else are the advantages of simple payback? I mean, payback period. It helps us analyze how much time it takes for me to recover the initial investment. But the problem with payback period is it does not tell us what will happen to the cash flows after the payback, because we are concerned only up until the payback period, right? After the payback period, what happens, that is not covered in payback period. So that is one disadvantage. But once we recover our initial investment, whatever is our cash flows is for us, correct? So that helps in liquidity. So that is one advantage. Any doubts, guys, in payback period? Do you guys have any doubts in payback period?
No, ma'am.
So, it is important to know the advantages and disadvantages of the methods also. So, girls are sitting somewhere else only or what? Switch on your videos. Visarga, Navneeta. I can't see you all. You can see only the boys. Anyway, so see over here. The advantages and disadvantage. Advantages, we spoke about it, right? The disadvantage is that it ignores all cash flows expected to be received beyond the payback, that is after the payback, correct? And it does not consider the profitability also of the project. So these are the disadvantage of payback periods. Therefore, a project with large portion of its expected cash flows in the latter means later years of its life could be rejected in favor of a less profitable project that has large portion of its cash flows in its early years. So what does this line mean? Now suppose there are two projects, okay? Project A and project B. Project A has very high cash flows in the initial years, whereas project B has very high cash flows in the latter years, that is after 5 6 years. So there are chances that we might reject project B because the recovery is happening late. But does that mean that project B is not a good project? We cannot say that, right? The project might be a good project. Just because the cash flows are occurring much later, we might end up rejecting it. And that is why they're saying that is the disadvantage of payback method. Got it, guys? What is the line? What does this line mean? Yeah? Please respond. And the payback method does not incorporate time value of money. So the interest lost while the company wants to receive money from the project is not considered. Then it does not consider the project's return on investment. That is also not taken into consideration. It just tells us how much time it takes for us to recover. It does not talk about the profitability, right? And ignores the company's required rate of return. So the company could accept a project for which it will pay more for its capital than the project can return. So there are, because it's not talking about the profitability of the project, just by looking at how much time it takes to recover, I might accept a project. But what guarantee that that project which we have accepted only on the basis of payback period will be a good project or not? So these are the disadvantages of these methods. Okay, shall we move to the next method now? So we have various methods in capital investment analysis. That was your payback period method. Now the next method is discounted cash flow methods. Now discounted cash flow, the moment you hear this word discounted, it simply means that when I use the word discounted, it simply means that we take into consideration the time value of money. Time value of money means we will calculate the present values. What do you mean by present values? Calculating the present values, what does it mean? We are converting our future cash flows. We are multiplying it into either the discount factor to find out the present value. And this process is called as discounting. We've discussed about discounting earlier also, correct? Okay. So now in discounted cash flow analysis, what happens? All expected cash flows after the initial cash flow occur at the end of the year, like I told you guys earlier. Okay, and we will have to compare it with the required rate of return in order to decide whether to go. So there are many methods, okay? So let's start with the first and the most important method, which is NPV. What does NPV stand for? Have you all heard of NPV?
Net present value, ma'am.
Yes, it's your net present value. I think we did one problem on net present value in the class, first class when I came there to your college.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. So that method only in detail we are going to study now. Once okay.
And we are not able to hear, ma'am.
Sorry guys, my mic was off. So NPV is the next method that we're going to study. So NPV is based on your present value of future expected after tax. We always take after tax, right? So what do? We take all the after tax cash flows and bring it to the present value by multiplying it with the discount factor, correct? For example, see over here, same thing what we discussed in the previous classes, guys. What are our relevant cash flows? Our relevant cash flows are initial net cash outflows, that is cost of the asset, working capital requirement. Inflow is sale, net cash flow that may be expected to occur after the beginning of the project, such as additional investments. So all these we've already discussed: depreciation, tax shield, cash proceeds from the sale of the asset, working capital released at the end of the project. So all of these cash flows we will have to take it into consideration, and then we will have to convert these cash flows to present value by discounting it. All right. So, simple decision criteria is, if the NPV is positive, the project is profitable because it will earn more than it will cost the company. So, shareholder wealth will increase, and that is why we accept the project. Now, when a project has a zero NPV, what do you mean by NPV is zero? That means your present value of all your cash inflows is equal to your present value of cash outflow. That is when your NPV is zero. For example, 100 you're spending and you're getting also 100. So let's say this is the present value of cash outflow. This is your present value of cash inflow. So what is your NPV, guys? Zero, right? So a project with NPV zero would not lose money, but will not give you money also. So they are saying shareholder wealth would neither increase or decrease. So a project with zero NPVs are questionable at best. So technically the company would not lose money on it, but zero NPV does not provide any motivation to take up the project, because you're not making any profit, but you're also not making any losses. Okay. Now, if the project has a negative NPV, then what does it mean? When your present value of cash inflow is less than your present value of cash outflow, that time it is not worth taking that project, because it is a loss making project and this will not help in shareholder wealth increasing. And that is why we do not accept the project. Okay. So shall we do a problem now, guys, to calculate the NPV?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So look at this example. It's the same question what we've been doing for payback period. What is the equipment cost? Pre-tax annual operating cash receipts is 50,000. Require an initial investment of working capital 25,000. Salvage value at the end of year 9 is 10,000. Income tax rate is given. And required rate of return from this project is how much?
Ma'am, we can't see your screen, ma'am.
Oh, 1 second. Now?
Yes, ma'am, we
Yes,
can.
ma'am.
So everybody, let's do this problem now. So here we will have to calculate the NPV of this project. Alright. You remember we calculated the payback period of this project yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
Same question, CMA products only. Same question. Yesterday we calculated the payback and we got 4.5 years and discounted and simple we did. It's the same question. But now with the help of we are calculating NPV, which is another method. Shall we do it? Everyone. So what are my relevant cash flows, guys? Year zero. Tell me. Unmute and tell me. Year zero. What is my relevant cash flow in this question? Which one? Which is your relevant cash flow?
50,000, ma'am.
That is what you're going to get every year, year 1, year 2, year 3. Initially, to start this project, how much are you spending?
1,25,000, ma'am.
1,25,000. So can I say year 0? One is 1,25,000. Then what are your other relevant cash flows?
Working capital 25,000.
Working capital of 25,000. So this is in year 0. Then in year 1, what is your relevant cash flow? Year 1, year 2, year 3, like that. 9 years this project is there. No, what are my relevant cash flows? This 50,000, right? Sales minus all the cash disbursement. I'm getting an operating cash flow before tax 50,000. So what should I take?
After tax, ma'am.
After tax. So after tax, how much will it be? Minus 21%.
39,500.
39,500. So that means every year, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, every year I'm getting after tax cash flow of 39,500. Is there any other relevant cash flow to be consideration each year? What is it?
Depreciation tax shield, ma'am.
Depreciation tax shield. And you all know how to calculate depreciation tax shield. Yesterday for this question itself, we've already calculated. Remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Cost of the asset into the depreciation rate into the tax rate, you'll get your depreciation tax shield for every year. Okay, then finally at the end of the year, what should I take into consideration? What should I take into consideration? In the final year, what do we take into consideration? Tell me.
NPV, ma'am.
NPV, yes, that is what we are going to calculate. I'm talking about the beginning stage, ending stage. Now, ending stage, mein what should we take? Which one? What are my relevant cash flows at the ending stage? What happens when the project ends? Just like in your, yes, Durai. We've been doing such questions since a week now. Tell me, guys.
Salvage value, ma'am.
Okay, salvage value I have to take. Then working capital, you'll get it back now? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Which you spent earlier in year 0. Now you're going to get that back. Correct? So now everybody pay attention. Year 0, what are your relevant cash flows? One is your initial investment, 1,25,000, and working capital, 25,000. Okay. Then every year, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9, you're going to get 39,500, which is 50,000 minus 21%. Apart from this, what is my relevant cash flow? The depreciation tax shield. So you know how to calculate the depreciation tax shield also, correct? That is the cost of the asset into depreciation rate into tax rate. So this way we have calculated the depreciation tax shield also. Then what happens? How much did you sell the asset for? 10,000. The machine was, yes, the machine was fully depreciated, but still you were able to sell it for 10,000. Correct? So is it profit on loss or loss on sale? Profit on sale or loss on sale? How much?
Profit on sale.
Profit on sale. So the machine was fully depreciated, right? But still we were able to sell it for 10,000. So you got a profit of 10,000. Can you keep this entire profit, guys?
No, ma'am. You should pay
What
tax.
should you do?
Should pay tax, ma'am.
How much should I pay as tax?
21%.
21% of 10,000. So you got 10,000, but how much you had to pay as tax? 10,000 ka 21%. So how much is it?
2,100, ma'am.
Yes. So what is your net cash flow?
7,900.
7,900. So this is what? This is how we got this 7,900. Got it? Everyone.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
then our working capital, if the project is ending, will you require any working capital anymore? No. So recovery of working capital. Here it is an outflow. Here it is an inflow. So understood all the relevant cash flows that we took now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now add them all. 1,25,000 plus. So this is the addition of everything. Correct? Now I want you guys to calculate the NPV. I'll give you all 5 minutes time. How will you do it? You will have to multiply the future. Now these are your future cash flows. You want to know what is the present value of these future cash flows. For that you need to know the required rate of return, which they have told 10% in the question. So can you all convert these future cash flows to present value by multiplying it with their discount factors and then deduct the present value of cash outflow and tell me what is the answer? All what you will be doing, you have to calculate the present value of cash inflows, and this is your present value of cash outflow. So add them all and then deduct 1,50,000 and tell me what is the answer. First step is calculate your present value of cash inflow, that is 43,251 into 0.909, 45,929 into 0.826. So like that, do it for every year and add them all and tell me how much do you get. Your time starts now.
Ma'am, present value 2,29,625.
2,29,625. Did everybody get that amount?
Yes, ma'am.
And now 2 lakh, how much did you also get? 2,29,000?
625.
625.
5.
Okay. And so, even after converting your future cash flows to present value, you're getting so much. Minus, how much are you spending? 1 lakh? 50,000. Correct? Deduct that. So, what is your
79,000 to 625.
somewhere you'll have gone wrong because you have to get 1,10,000 as your answer. So, the present value of cash inflow is incorrect then. Did you all multiply all your after tax cash net cash flows into the discount factors? Do it again.
Yes, ma'am.
43,251 into 0.909. So add this all. Oh, wait. 1 second. What did you all say the answer? 70. No, that's not the right answer. Where is my...
Yes. We didn't consider ninth year, ma'am.
Do that also. Add that also and then deduct your initial investment. That is 1,50,000. You'll have to take all the years, no? Because we are calculating the net present value. So in NPV, what do? We first calculate the net after tax cash flows, right? Convert them to present value, which is again called as discounted after tax net cash flows. And then you take the total. These are your discounted after tax net cash flows. Add from year 1 to year 9. How much do you get? 39,315 plus 37, 937 plus 33,112 plus 29,218 plus 25,985 plus 23,599 plus 21,466 plus 18,993 plus 36,998. So what is your present value of cash inflow? Total of this, how much did you get? How much, guys?
26,323.
26,000 or 2,60,000?
Sorry, 2,60,000.
2,60,000?
323.
323. So this is your present value of cash inflow. What is your present value of cash outflow? That is in year 0. 1,50,000. So you're investing 1,50,000 and you're getting so much. So what is your net present value? How much? 2,60,323 you're getting. That is your present value of cash inflows. But to get that you're
1,10,000.
spending, yes,
323.
1,10,320. So should I accept the project or reject the project?
Accept, ma'am.
Why? Because the NPV is positive, right? And
Yes, ma'am.
because the NPV is positive, we accept the project. So how do we calculate the NPV? Present value of expected net after tax cash inflows minus your initial investment. Got it? Any doubts, please ask. This is very important. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Girls, where are you all?
We are here only, ma'am.
Where are the others?
I'm some went to bank.
Why is that every day you all are going to the bank? So much money you all have got, huh? Huh?
No, ma'am.
What work do you all have in the bank?
Scholarship.
College students.
It's scholarship, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, guys, let's go ahead now. So we saw your NPV basic problem, but did you observe in this problem every year the cash flows were different? Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what if the cash flows are same every year? That time, instead of discount factor, we can use annuity factor. Now, what is annuity factor? It will be given to you in the exam itself. Like for example, see this. Annuity factor is used when the cash flows are equal. That means same every year. Like for example, year 1 I'm getting 20,000, year 2 also 20,000, year 3 also 20,000, year 4 also 20,000. If the cash flows are same every year, then we will use annuity factor. All right. So, in such a case, what we can do is instead of calculating discount factor every year, like how we used to do it, right? We used to take each cash flow and multiply it with its respective discount factors like this. So, instead of that, we can simply take the annuity factor. Annuity factor is actually nothing but the sum of discount factor. Okay, remember that. So, there are two things, guys. We are talking about discounting, correct? Discounting means what? Calculating the
Present
present
value.
value. Yes. So, present value, you all know how to calculate. It is present value is equal to future value divided by 1 plus r the whole to the power n, which is nothing but future value into 1 divided by 1 plus r the whole to the power n, which is nothing but this thing could be either your discount factor or your annuity factor. You will use discount factor when the cash flows are uneven, meaning different cash flows every year. You will use annuity factors when the cash flows are even, meaning same every year. But annuity factor is nothing but your sum of discount factors. All right, annuity factor is nothing but sum of discount factors. So, like for example, at 10%, you know that, right? For year 1, year 2, year 3. How do you calculate the discount factors? Tell me. 1 divided by 1 plus r. So 1 divided by 1 plus zero point 0.1. So 1 divided by 1.1. How much do you get first year? How much do you get? 0.909. Then again click equal to. How much is it for second year?
0.826.
Third year?
0.751.
Uh-huh. So these are your discount factors, correct? Now, let's say every year I'm getting 100, 100. Okay. So what will be the present value, guys? 100 into 0.909. How much? 90.9. 100 into 8.826. 82.6. 100 into 0.751. How much do you get? 75.1. Correct. Now add them all. Add them all and tell me how much do you get? How much do you get?
248.6.
248.6. Now, instead of doing it like this, don't you think this is a long way? Because for each year, I will have to multiply it with the discount factor. This is how you should do if the cash flows are different. But now, if the cash flows are same everywhere, can you see year 1 also 100, year 2 also 100, year 3 also 100. if the cash flows are same every year, you can save time by using the annuity factor. Okay, so instead of discount factor, you can multiply it with the annuity factor. That is 100 into what is the annuity factor at 10% for year 3? How will you calculate it? What did I tell you? Annuity factor is equal to sum of discount factors, right? So take 1 divided by 1.1. Whatever you get, this is for first year. Again click equal to. This is for second year. Again click equal to. This is for third year. Now, do you have this GT symbol in your calci? Click on GT. Grand total. Click on that. How much do you get?
We
How
don't
much
have
do you
that
get?
option.
This GT symbol is not there in your calci. Grand total. When you did equal to, stop at third year because you want to know the annuity factor at 10% for third year. No. Then click grand total. How much did you get?
2.48.
Very good. 2.486. Correct? So, I will do 100 into 2.486. How much do you get? 248.6. So, don't you think this is shortcut way? Both the places you're getting the same answer. But don't you think this is quicker? And when can you use this? You can use this when the cash flows are same every year. And now everybody knows how to calculate the annuity factors. You just have to calculate your discount factors and then click on grand total. Okay, let me see if you all have understood or not. Can you all tell me what is the annuity factor at 8% for year 4? Tell me what is the answer. Do it normally like your discount factor. Then in the 4th year when you get, click on grand total. Tell me what is the answer. Let's see. Whatever you get in your calci, that'll be for first year. Equal to second year. Equal to third year. Equal to. That'll be for 4th year. Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, what to do when there's no GT?
You all don't have GT.
No, ma'am.
Okay, if GT is not there, then you have to use this M plus and MRC feature in your calci. So, for example, I did 1 divided by 1.1. Whatever answer I get, I'll keep it in M plus. Then equal to, again M plus. Equal to, again M plus. And then you click on MRC, that is memory recall. Basically, you're telling your calci to keep all of it in memory and adding and telling your calci to add them. Then click on MRC, you will get the answer. Do 1 divided by 1.1, normal way. You'll get 0.909, keep it in memory. How do you keep it in memory? By clicking on M plus in your calci. Again equal to M plus. Again equal to M plus. Then finally click on MRC. But each time when you're starting a new calci, make sure that you clear your calci. There should be nothing in your calci. Again, it should be clean. Otherwise, one M will always be there on the top of your calci. Okay, now can you all try? What is the annuity factor at 8% for year 4?
Zero point 735.
0.735. So, Durai, you told 0.735, right? But that is the discount factor. Okay, I want annuity factor. So you have to click on grand total. If you don't have grand total, then each time you have to do this step.
Ma'am, 3.312.
Very good. 3.312 is the right answer. Okay, let me check one more time. Can you all tell me what is the annuity factor at 12% for year 5?
3.604.
Yes, that's the right answer. Okay, so now everybody knows how to calculate the annuity factors in your calculator. But this annuity factor, you can also find it from your annuity table, which will be given to you in the exam, or sometimes in the question itself, they'll tell you. But you need to know. Yes,
Ma'am, can you teach again, ma'am?
sure. So,
Because in my
first,
calculator, it's not.
okay, it's simple, guys. First, you do 1 divided by 1 plus r. Make sure you clear your calci. Make sure nothing is there in your calci by clearing it. Is it clear?
Ma'am,
Huh. So now 1 divided by 1 plus, what is your r? 12%. So 12% means how much? 12 divided by 100, which is 0.12. So 1 divided by 1 plus 0.12 is 1.12. So in your calci, you take 1 divided by 1.12. You'll get one answer. Correct? This is the discount factor for year 1. Now keep it in memory by clicking on M plus. Then again click equal to. This is for year 2. Again click M plus. Again click equal to. This is for year 3. Click M plus. Again click equal to. This is for year 4. M plus. Again click equal to. This is for year 5. Click M plus. So basically till here you have told the calci to add whatever you got. Now you want to know the total. So you're telling the calci, click on this symbol called MRC, which is memory recall. How much do you get? 3.604. Now is it clear? If you have that GT symbol, then it is even more simple. You don't even have to keep it in M plus every time. You just have to do equal to, and then when you get the 5th year's discount factor, click on grand total to know what is the annuity factor. Did you get it?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you know how to calculate annuity factor. But when do we use annuity factor? Tell me. When do we use annuity factor?
Ma'am, even number.
Not even number. When
Even
the
cash
cash
flow.
flows are even. Even here is not that odd even thing. Even here is the meaning. The meaning is different. It's not odd number, even number here. When I say even cash flows, same cash flows every year. Okay. So can you all try this question, guys? I want you all to try this question. Your time starts now. So everybody, pay attention. Due to recent sales growth, AMC Petroleum, an oil wholesaler, plans to purchase an additional tanker truck. Now, this is an investment decision. The new truck cost is how much? How much? 2 lakhs. Now, the estimated after-tax net operating cash flow from the truck, including the after-tax incremental operating cash receipts, net of cash disbursements and the depreciation tax shield. So, everything they've already given is how much? 40,000 per year, and the truck will last for how many years?
7 years.
7 years. And the required rate of return is 10%.
10%.
Company's tax rate is 21%. So, can you calculate the NPV? How will you start, guys? Year 0. How much are you spending to buy this truck?
2 lakhs.
2 lakhs. So, what is this? This is your present value of cash outflow. Now, can you calculate the present value of cash inflow? Now, instead of doing every year, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, You're getting how much? 40, 40, 40, 40 every year, and then multiplying it with discount factor. Don't you think is time consuming?
Yes, ma'am.
Instead, what can you do if the cash flows are same? You can use the annuity factor. At what percentage, guys? Which percentage?
10%. 10, ma'am.
10%. For how many years you're going to get this cash
7
flow?
years.
7 years. So, and tell me what is your present value of cash inflow by doing this. And then whatever answer you get, you will have to deduct it from year 0 and tell me what is your NPV and the decision also, whether we have to accept or reject the project.
Ma'am, 1,43,892 cash inflow. Net cash inflow.
Present value of cash inflow, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your 1,94,736 you're getting? But you're spending how much? How much are you spending?
2 lakh in our car.
2 lakhs, right? Now tell me whether your NPV is positive or negative.
Negative.
Negative by how much? You're spending 2 lakhs, but you're getting only 1,94,736. So you have a negative NPV of 5,263 or 286, whatever. So should we accept or reject the project?
Reject.
Reject the project. Any doubts? Now, don't you think this was simpler instead of doing every year discount factor? We can, when the cash flows are same, you can just take the annuity factor at 10% for that year and calculate your present value of cash inflow. This is your present value of cash inflow minus the initial investment, which is your present value of cash outflow. So since the NPV is negative, we reject the project. Why? It is not worth it to take this tanker truck because this will make us a loss. Clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Girls, boys?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us do a little twist in the problem. They are saying a series of equal cash flows with one unequal amount at the end. So what should you do? For whenever it is same, you take annuity factor. But for that 1 year which is unequal, no? For that you have to take discount factor. Okay? For example, see this question. Same question. What are they saying? The company is going to buy a truck for 2 lakhs and it is going to get 40,000 every year and the truck will be for 7 years. But they're adding one more point over here. That is the AMC company projects that at the end of 7 years will be able to sell the truck for 60,000 and the truck is fully depreciated for tax purpose. So the full amount will be taxable gain. So tell me guys, at the end of the life, what will be my relevant cash flow? See, year 0. What happened? You purchased this truck. You're going to planning to purchase. So there will be negative 200,000. Then year 1 till year 7, you're going to get 40,000 every year. And then they're saying in year 7, you're selling the truck for 60,000. Even though the truck is fully depreciated, you were able to sell it for 60,000. So should I take 60,000 or should I take net of tax figure?
Should take
How
net
much
tax.
will it net of tax? So you're getting a cash inflow of 60,000. But then you have to pay, right? Why you have to pay tax? Because you made profit. Entire 60,000 you made as profit. But can you keep that entire 60,000?
No, ma'am.
No, you will have to pay tax. How much? 21%. So how much will it be?
12,600, ma'am.
12,600. So after deducting your tax, how much is your net cash flow?
47,400.
47,400. What is this 47,400? This is your cash flow for year 7. But all of these are future cash flows, guys. Whenever we're doing an NPV problem, all of these are your future cash flows. We have to now convert them to present value. Correct? You know, year 0, it will be 2 lakhs itself. Year 1 to 7, what did you get as your present value of cash inflow? Previously you did, right? Into annuity factor at how much did you all get? 1 lakh? Something you all told me, no? What was the present value of cash inflow?
1,94,750, ma'am.
1,94,000?
750.
750. Now this
720, ma'am.
720. Okay. Now what about this 47,400? You have to convert this also to present value. So you will multiply it with what, guys, to know the present value? What will you multiply 47,400 with so that you get the present value of it in year 7? Think and tell me.
0.513. Discounting factor.
Discount factor at how many years?
7th year.
7th year. So what is the discount factor at 7th year?
0.513.
5, 6, 7. 0.513. So everyone, it is going to be 2 lakhs. This is going to be 2 lakhs itself. Correct? Present value, because this is year 0. Year 1 to 7, how much did you all get? 1,94,720. Now at year 7, how much is the present value? 0.513 if you multiply. Two lakh 24,323. So how much do you get? Do it. 1,94,720 plus 24,323 minus 2 lakhs. So are you getting positive or negative NPV now? What is your NPV, guys?
Positive.
How much?
2,90,036.
You add this and then deduct your 2 lakhs. Because this is your present value of cash inflow, right?
19,036, ma'am.
19,036 or okay, whatever, 19. So positive. Now can I accept the project?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will accept the project because it leads to a positive NPV. Correct? Like you all said. Any doubts what we did over here? We calculated what is the present value of cash inflow, right? Then only for that year, we took the discount factor at 7%, I mean at 10% for year 7. to know what is the present value. This is the present value. And then we deduct it with the initial investment, which is at year 0, which is your present value of cash outflow, to arrive at our NPV. And because the NPV is positive, this project is now acceptable. Earlier it was not. It gave us negative. But after considering the sale of truck, it became acceptable. Understood how to deal with such questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, everybody, there were how many things? One was your discount factor when the cash flows were uneven. Then there was annuity factor when the cash flows were same. Now we have one more thing, which is the PF, that is the perpetuity factor. Now, what is the meaning of perpetuity factor? Perpetuity factor means you're going to get the same cash flows for a foreseeable future. What do you mean by foreseeable future? It goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It goes on and on. That means the cash flows are same like your annuity factor. But in annuity factor, there was a definite period, like for 5 years or for 6 years. They'll tell you for how many years. But in perpetuity factor, there is no end. You go on getting. That is why it is called as foreseeable future. Okay. See, cash flows that go on and on without an end is called as perpetual cash flows. Now, just like we had discount factor, annuity factor, similarly we have perpetuity factor, and perpetuity factor is the easiest. What should you do? You just have to multiply. It is just 1 divided by R. That's all. Multiply your cash flow into 1 divided by R. You will get your NPV. Got it? So 3 things. Discount factor, you know how to calculate it. Annuity factor, you know that also how to calculate it. Now perpetuity factor is just 1 by R. That's it. Then once you get the perpetuity factor, you multiply it with the cash flow. You'll get your answer. Shall we do one problem to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Look at this question. Perpetua Enterprise plans to invest $40,000 in a project to generate after-tax cash inflow of 5,000 each year, beginning with year 1 and continuing indefinitely. If they use the word indefinitely, what does it mean? It goes on and on and on and on. And the required rate of return is 10%. So perpetuity factor, what did I say? 1 by R. So 1 by R is how much? Rate of interest is? So 1 divided by 0.1. How much, guys? How much is it? 10 is your perpetuity factor. Multiply this perpetuity factor with your cash flows every year. How much are you going to get?
50,000.
50,000. And how much are you planning to invest?
40,000.
40,000. So what is your NPV?
10,000.
10,000. Is this clear, everybody? Any doubts? So we have discount factor, annuity factor, perpetuity factor. Discount factor, you know, 1 divided by 1 plus R equal to. Annuity factor is nothing but sum of discount factor. Discount factor you use when the cash flows are uneven. That means not same. And here you use it when it's even, when you have same cash flows for a definite period of time. Whereas perpetuity factors, same but for an indefinite period of time. Meaning for a foreseeable future. Now again in perpetuity factor, it can be without growth, which we just discussed, that is 1 divided by R, or it can be with growth. So if it is with growth, then 1 divided by R minus G. That is the formula. If they use the word growing annuity, then you just have to multiply. I mean, divided by R minus G. G over here is the growth rate. Because sometimes they say that the cash flow is going to grow. So if they mention that in the question, then we will have to take that into consideration. Did you all take down?
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you mean by perpetuity factor, guys? Tell me. What is the meaning of perpetuity factor?
Same but indefinite period.
Yes, same cash flows, but which goes on for an indefinite time, meaning on and on and on. Okay, and if it is with growth, the formula would be 1 divided by R minus G, then multiply it into the cash flow. So can you all try this question? Where they're saying that it is going to grow at the rate of 5%. Same question, but with the growth rate. Tell me what is the answer.
One lakh, ma'am.
Did you all get the answer?
Ma'am, NBP 60,000.
NPV, net present value, is
60,000.
60,000. Okay, let's check. That's the right answer, guys. So what should you do? Cash flow into 1 divided by R minus G. So your cash flow is 5,000 into 1 divided by rate of interest is 10%. So 0.1 minus growth rate is how much? 5%. 5% means 0.05. So do this. 0.1 minus 0.05 is again 0.05. So 5,000 into 1 divided by 0.05. You'll get 1 lakh. What is this 1 lakh? This is the present value of cash inflow. Minus how much are you spending? Initial investment 40,000. So your NPV is 60,000. So should I accept this project or reject?
Yes, ma'am.
You will accept the project. Clear? Is this clear, everybody? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now we know how to calculate NPV problems. So the choice of proper discount rate, which is basically the required rate of return, you can call it as discount rate. So for NPV, now to calculate NPV, we need one rate, right? This rate can be called as discount rate. There are different names. It can also be called as hurdle rate. Why? What is the meaning of hurdle? Hurdle means you have to jump. Remember hurdle. So why it's called as hurdle rate? Because we have to achieve more than that. Then it can also be called as weighted average cost of capital. So these are the different names given to or I can also call it as required rate of return, because this is the rate that we require from the project. So these are the different names given to your rate. All right. So that is what they're saying. To calculate NPV, it is important for us to know that rate. So a company should invest money in a project only if the project provides us the return that is greater than its required rate of return. Because only if it does that, the value of the firm will increase. So that is what they're saying here. The usual measure of the required rate of return is the company's weighted average cost of capital. However, it is appropriate to use the weighted average cost of capital as the discount rate only when the market risk of the project is the same as the normal market risk of the overall company. But if the market risk is either greater or lesser, then we will have to calculate a new rate of return. Like for example, let's say I'm in food industry. Now I want to enter cosmetic industry. Now, do you all agree that food industry and cosmetic industry are different?
Yes, ma'am.
So, if I'm using 10% for food industry, does it make sense to use the same rate of return for cosmetic? No, I will have to calculate the new rate of return which is suitable for that industry, right? So, I'll have to calculate the new required rate of return because the risk is different. So, if the risk is different, then we will have to calculate new cost of capital. Clear? Okay, shall we take a quick break?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, it's 4:29. 4:35 will be back. 4:36 will be back. Shall we get back? Shall we do one problem on NPV now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we saw what is NPV, right? We have to calculate the net present value. So now, see over here. Let us take one problem. So what do you observe over here? At different hurdle rates, at different discount rates, if you look at this over here, at different discount rate, our NPV is different. Like if I use 25%, my NPV is negative 50,368. At 10%, it is so much. So what do we observe? As the discount rate increases, the NPV went on reducing. Yes or no? What do you all observe? Can I say higher the discount rate, lower is the NPV?
Yes, ma'am.
So this helps you solve a lot of problems. That is, higher the discount rate, lower is your NPV. Because we are using a higher rate to discount our future cash flows, right? So that is what you observe over here. That is, when the discount rate went on increasing, what happened to the NPV? It went on, see, at 5% it was positive 1,93,200. 10% 1,16,800. 15% 54,200. 20% 2,500. 25% it became negative. Correct? So, whenever you increase the discount rate, your NPV goes on decreasing. Why? Because you're expecting higher, you're using a higher discount rate. All right. So now, where is it? Let us do a problem. Where is it? Okay, before we do the problem, what are the advantages of NPV, guys? Can I say NPV takes time value of money into consideration? Which is very important. It provides. Now see, your payback period did not take profitability of the project into consideration, but your NPV considers the profitability of the project. It tells us no proper dollar figure. It will tell whether it is positive or negative, by which we will know how much the shareholders' wealth will increase. Because ultimately, whose money are we putting in the project? The shareholders' money, correct? So it provides an estimate of the profitability of the project. It takes time value of money into consideration, and NPV incorporates the impact of all cash flows associated with the project. Unlike in your payback period, only until recovery. After recovery, they did not take into consideration. But in NPV, all the cash flows are taken into consideration. And it can also be used to manage risk in a project by adjusting the required rate of return used as a discount rate to compensate for projects with higher or lower risk. Now, for example, if a particular project is riskier, I can use a higher discount rate. Instead of 10%, I can use 15%. Or if the project is less risky, I can use a lesser discount rate, let's say 7% or 8%. That flexibility is possible when we are talking about NPV method. Okay, so NPV enables ranking of potential projects according to their expected monetary returns. All right, so cash flows used can be discounted individually by component or by period. That is basically your annuity factor and discount factor. So these are the advantages of NPV method. And because of these advantages itself, NPV method is the best method out of all the capital investment methods that we are discussing. Clear? But of course, there are some disadvantage. What is it? NPV incorporates an assumption that all cash inflows from the project will be reinvested at the required rate of return. That is, next time also we'll be using the same required rate of return, which in reality will not be the case. We might use some other rate of return. Now, since NPV is expressed as a monetary amount, it does not provide an expected rate of return. Now, because it tells us in dollars, right? It does not tell us in percentage. But again, that is actually not a disadvantage, but just because you have to write something, they're saying, okay, that it's a disadvantage. Okay. There is a risk of incorrect assumptions, which can, okay, why incorrect? Because whenever we are calculating NPV, guys, we are thinking whether to make an investment or not, right? So all our future cash flows are assumptions. Now, what if our assumptions are only wrong? So that is why that could be a risk, which is again a disadvantage. And then the NPV is very sensitive to the discount rate used. That means whichever, again, that discount rate is an assumption. I am saying, okay, I want 10% return from this project, but will we get that or not is a different thing. So that also is subject to estimation. Based on estimation we are doing. All right. So company's actual cost of capital may vary significantly from the discount rate used in the NPV due to market fluctuations, which can actually change in the shareholders' value. And cash flows beyond the initial expected lifetime of the project are not recognized in an NPV analysis, but can provide value. Okay, they're saying only up till the life of the project we are taking into consideration. Once the life of the project is over, we are not considering those cash flows, right? So it can be a disadvantage is what they're saying. But again, despite of all these disadvantages, NPV is still considered to be the best method out of all methods. All right, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's take up one more problem on NPV because this is a very, very important topic. In section E, you can expect a question from NPV. Just give me a second. Now, can you all try this? So tomorrow we will do full questions on NPV. Okay? Different varieties of questions using NPV method. Okay. I think we have discussed about perpetuity. Benefits, limitations. Okay. Just give me a second. Any doubts, guys, in NPV? How to calculate?
Go, ma'am.
Okay. One problem on this, and then we will stop. So everybody knows how to convert the future cash flows to present value, correct? Okay. Now we need to take, when using NPV method, yeah. Last problem for the day, guys. Everybody. So what has happened over here? They have given you the cash flows. They're asking you to calculate the NPV. So what are they saying? Kigo company is planning a 2 lakh equipment which has an estimated life of 5 years. The company has projected these as the cash flows. Now, what is the, and they have already given you the discount rates also they have given. Correct? Now, what are they asking you to calculate? NPV. What should we do? We have to multiply the cash flows into their present value to know what the present
Ma'am,
value
you're
is.
mute.
What? What, Nisarga? So what should we do, guys? We will have to calculate the NPV. So how do you calculate the NPV? Calculate the present value first. Multiply the cash flow into the present value. And then deduct the initial investment and tell me what is the answer. Quickly do it. I'll give you all one more tip, guys. To save time in the exam, ignore the last three zeros for quickness. Instead of doing 1,20,000, just do 120 into 0.91. You can save time because each second matters in the exam. How much is it? How much, guys?
One lakh 9,200.
Yeah, instead of taking the three zeros, it will take some time, right? And you know, time management is very important. So what you can do? You can save time like this by ignoring the last three zeros. Yes or no?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we have 1 lakh, see 1 lakh 20 into 0.91 is 109.2. 60 into 0.76 is 45.6. 40 into 0.63 is 25.2. 40 into 0.53 is 21.2. And 40 into 0.44 is 17.6. So what is this? This is the present value of your future cash flows, present value of all your cash inflows. So add them all. Add this all. How much are you getting? How much do you get?
218.8.
218.8, which is nothing but 2,18,800. I just saved time by ignoring the zeros for quickness. Now, what is the answer, guys? Which one is the correct answer?
Option A, ma'am.
Is it option A? Think and tell me, what is the requirement of the question?
B, ma'am.
They are asking,
18,800.
very good. Why? Because they're asking what is the net present value. This is the present value of cash inflow. From this, I have to deduct my initial investment, no? This is my present value of cash outflow. So what is my NPV? 18,800. Clear? Always, guys, we are checking whether to see. They always use the word planning. Kigo company is planning to make an investment which can give the projected cash flows. So what did I do? These projected cash flows, I calculated the present value and I'm checking whether whether I have to go ahead with the investment or not. So should I accept or reject the project? What is the answer?
Accept, ma'am.
Accept. Why? Because I got a positive NPV. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this clear? Another way to do this would be 1,20,000 into 0.91, 60,000 into 0.76. Then you could take the total of this because it's the same every year. That is 0.63 plus 0.53 plus 0.44 is how much? 1.6. So you could do 1,20,000 into 0.91. That is also possible. That also you can save time. You'll get 109.2. 60 into 0.76, you'll get 45.6. Instead of doing for every year, since it is same, what can you use? You can use the annuity factor, that is 40 into 1.6, which is 64. Then take the total. which is still the same answer. So this is your cash inflow minus 200. That is this. You'll still get the same answer. And this is shorter. Why? Because you took annuity factor. Why did you take annuity factor? Because the cash flows were same every year. Clear, everybody? How you can save time? Is this clear? Have you all understood net present value? Sounda? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Nisarga?
Yes, ma'am.
And who's the other one?
Santosh, ma'am.
No, beside Nisarga?
Navanita.
Navneeta. Yeah. Clear? Yeah. Hi. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are the other girls? They didn't come only today.
They went home, ma'am.
Okay, we'll continue tomorrow and we'll do more problems on NPV.
Sure, ma'am.
So please revise this concept. It is an important concept in exam point of view also. All right. And tomorrow we'll do problems on NPV. Okay, bye.
Bye, ma'am.